in the studio, and we are live. So let's say hello. Today's broadcast is from the OneStream Live YouTube channel, Social Media Strategy for Churches, and I am, if I take that out of solo, just give me a second. 3, 2, 1. I am your host, Stephen Healy. Welcome to the broadcast. This is Stephen, live from wonderful Wiltshire in England, and today's topic, a very special one to me, is social media strategy for churches. And what we're going to be looking at is how you as a church can use live video day to day. And I'm going to read through, well, if I swap over, you can have an idea of what I'm going to talk about. So if I go and swap and I bring this over here, what we're going to talk about today is the following. Okay, so church social media strategy, use live video to engage your congregation. And that's what we're all about. Now, the main feature, of course, is streaming worship services and sermons. That's number 1 on the list. Number 2 is to host midweek devotionals and Bible studies. 3, share testimonies and faith stories. 4, engage your youth and kids ministry. Live prayer and worship nights. Allow viewers, and during those, allow viewers to submit prayers in real time. Behind the scenes church life, live streaming volunteer activities and community outreach efforts. Special events with guest speakers, stream baptisms, weddings, conferences, outreach events, invite guest pastors, theologians, or authors for special discussions. And finally, or nearly finally, don't forget to repurpose the video. So those are the main ways in which you as a church can actually use live video. And when I was on ChatGPT, it suggested the use of 2 systems, which surprised me. One was Restream, and the second one was OneStream Live, which is where we're broadcasting from today. This is OneStream Live, and this is a system which is ideal for churches. If you want more information, then just comment down below. If you're watching live, thank you. I'm just going to go to the chat and switch to chat on. So connect the chat and say hello. Just a minute. This is live video. Just a second. Now, what you should know is in live video, nothing is perfect. Okay, you're not going to get the perfect broadcast unless you practice. And practice is the key to all this. In terms of broadcasting services, the hardware is important. What you do need to have is fastest PC that you can obtain, PC or Mac. You need to have cameras, and I would suggest external cameras. I'm going to show you an example in a moment, having several external cameras to actually be able to show different aspects of the church whilst the service is taking place. And you need microphones, and basically the system that I've seen in my local church, which is St. James, is that the vicar is actually wearing a mic. Okay. And both Keith and Richard wear microphones. So what does it look like? Well, basically, when you're broadcasting, you've got a choice of where you're broadcasting. If you've got a Facebook page, you can broadcast the Facebook page. Although Facebook will only keep the video for 4 weeks. If you broadcast to YouTube, YouTube will keep the video. And if you've got a particular passage in the service that you want to keep referring to, then you can do it. You know the video is going to stay on YouTube forever. Fingers crossed. Okay, so having looked at the agenda, the next thing I want to look at is the service itself. And If I add this to the stream and replace, and in a second it will come across, and I'll move it across. So this is broadcasting a live service on YouTube, as you can see, and Keith and Richard are there on the altar, and basically a camera is permanently pointed at the altar, and it records everything that it sees in front of it. It doesn't show any of the congregation, it just shows the altar. And that broadcast goes out, and basically when the service, well, the broadcast starts before the service starts, and then the service at 11 a.m. on Sunday, right, okay, on Sunday is broadcast live on YouTube, and it means that people can watch live. Unfortunately, not everybody can make it to the service in person. And that is why broadcasting the service out allows you to reach those people who are not able to get to church. It also allows you to reach an audience beyond that, because as soon as you put your video on Facebook or YouTube or even LinkedIn, then you may attract people who are interested in the service. And this is not about marketing, this is about providing a service to your congregation. That's why you would broadcast live. That's why basically you would do that. And a service that we're talking about here, which is the St. James's Church, is fortunate to have a live group to the right of the altar. This is looking to the right of the altar, and the group are playing drums, guitar, and vocals, and you can see that basically they are leading the congregation through the hymns that are actually sung. And as you can see, if you look at the top left of the photograph, they're actually showing the verses that are being sung on the screen. So if you're watching this on YouTube, not only are you actually getting the live music, you're actually getting the words as well, so that watching it, you don't have to be passive. You could actually, if you know the tune and you've got the words on screen, you can actually sing along. So you actually participate in a live service. And of course, the words stay there after the service. The other thing is, of course, that people may miss the service at 11 o'clock. They can watch it anytime during the day or the following day. In fact, as I just mentioned on YouTube, the service is there to stay. So if there are any parts of the service that you want to take out as a snippet, then you can do that. You can use that to promote the YouTube channel and to promote the church. And we go to church twice a month, being honest about it, and we take part in the services, but we can't always be there. So the ability to actually watch helps stay in touch, because church is about community, and there is a sense of community around St. James's Church, and that is led by, if I add this to the stream again, and come over here, it's led by Keith and Richard, and we are talking about church social media strategy using live video, and this is the prime example, the premier example of actually broadcasting the whole service live on YouTube, so that people can tune in live or people can watch the replay, and it provides a sense of community. And as I said a moment ago, the actual video itself, stays on YouTube and be watched later in the day, the following day, the following week. And you can repurpose parts of it. So that's the primary. Now, it is about the hardware. You need a fast computer. you need, and that's the best you can buy. You need external cameras, and there are, if you go onto YouTube and you search for cameras for live services, then you'll get a list of cameras which people have tried and tested on broadcasting services, and you could choose your choice from there. Microphones, as I say, wireless microphones are worn by the vicar, and also by anybody who is actually doing a reading during the service. It does take practice to actually get everything working perfectly. I mean, as far as St. James is concerned, it started in 2020 with COVID, or after COVID, and people were wary of going to church. So the service was held and then broadcast out. Sorry, it was held, given the safety factors that were in play. It was held and then broadcast out, and that's where it all began. And here we are, 5 years later, and St. James is still broadcasting the service live as a service for the community and for the congregation. Primary use of live video is broadcasting your service. There are companies around. When you can either, you've got a choice, you can either do it yourself or you can hire someone to do it. Doing it yourself is instructive, it's a learning experience, and it's more real because you already have a connection with the church. So if you talk to your congregation, ask for volunteers as to who would like to get to know all about broadcasting live, I'm sure you would have many volunteers, and then bring somebody in from a local company to just teach everybody once. And then you can, once you've taught your congregation, you can broadcast any time of night or day. Yeah, Sunday 11 o'clock when the service is, and then on other occasions during the week. And we're going to find out now when else you can actually use live video to complement and enhance a service. Okay, now, as I say, as far as the service itself is concerned, it is better that you do it within the church, that you ask for volunteers, you get them involved, you ask for exterior expertise when you need it, and you learn. And that means that once you know how to broadcast live, you've already got the computer, you've got the cameras, you've got the microphone. Yeah, oh, there's one last thing. Just a minute, let me come back. There is one last thing, which is ultra important, because you are going to be broadcasting regularly, at least once a week, then you need a good internet signal. Now, normally we would recommend that you want a 5 upload, but a 10 megabit upload is preferred. So you need, if you can, and you're in the UK, if you can get full fiber networking, then that's more than suitable for live broadcasting. I mean, we couldn't have done this in the days of dial-up modems. This could not have been done, but now with full fiber, we can broadcast perfectly, clearly. Yeah. As far as the resolution is concerned, it's up to you. 1080p, 720p, and again, it does depend on your connection to the internet. I just want to bring something on which you won't see. I'm in my OneStream live studio, which means that I have got a teleprompter, and that teleprompter reminds me what I'm talking about. So in terms of stream worship services and sermons, then that's definitely a thing. It was basically, if you can, then do it, because you're reaching out to people who cannot make it to your live services. Once you've got all that sorted and you've got everything ready, then you can host midweek devotionals and Bible studies. Now, in relation to that, you need to have the consent of everybody taking part to be broadcast. Yeah, unlike taking a photograph in the street, where you don't need to ask permission. Yeah, you can photograph anybody in the street because they're out in public and there are no rules about it. You can't photograph a policeman. I think I'm stand to be corrected on that. But as a general rule, when you're live broadcasting, then what you want to do is you actually want to ask permission of everybody taking part. If one person says they don't want to be on camera, that can be arranged because you can switch their camera off and just hear their voice. Yeah. So if somebody doesn't want to appear on camera in any of the events I'm going to talk about, switch their camera off and they will be voice only. Yeah. I mean, you can arrange, you're in control. You're doing the broadcast, you're in control. So midweek devotionals and Bible studies can be broadcast out again to YouTube, anywhere. I mean, remember, you can broadcast anywhere, but most churches actually broadcast to YouTube because of the quality and because the video stays there. It used to be Facebook, but Facebook had changed the rules and your video would disappear after 4 weeks, which means do back up. Now, with today's systems, including OneStream Live, as recommended by ChatGPT, you can broadcast to several different destinations. Yeah, there is no fee for broadcasting to Facebook. There's no fee for broadcasting to YouTube, to LinkedIn, to Twitch. And it's wherever your congregation are. And if I was starting to live broadcast, I would actually, you have two methods of approaching your parishioners. One is through the newsletter. I would put a question in the newsletter. If you were to watch our services, where would you watch them? And give the choice of Facebook, yeah, and do an online poll, yeah, because anybody who's getting a newsletter is actually online and can take the poll, and you can then work out where the best networks are. Ask the congregation where the best networks are. Now, newsletters, printed newsletters, are sent out by many churches for those who don't have email, and a way of reaching those who don't have email. So you could ask in the newsletters as well, in the newsletters as well, in the magazines, in fact. That's what word I was looking for. Right, now, you can, on your YouTube channel, share testimonials from your congregation and their faith stories, their beliefs, and you can, much in the way that you have guests within the live service, you can have guests purely on video who can be recorded in their own home, and then it doesn't have to be live, it can be recorded, and then it can be played out on Facebook and YouTube. And the rule that I would have there is if somebody volunteers to give a faith study or a testimony, that they get a copy of the video as well. For their collection, because they may well want to show that video to friends and relatives. Adding a service here to your parishioners, to your congregation, and you're basically helping them with live video. And who knows, they may enjoy being live on video so much that they take it up as a hobby themselves. So sharing testimonies and faith stories. Okay, and then engage youth. Now, it's a fact that the youth of the congregation know more about video than we do. They are more likely to pick up their mobile phones and go live than we are. And that being the case, you don't have to educate them. You just have to invite them. If you, in your youth club, many churches have youth clubs attached. Within your youth centre, you have St. James Centre here where we are. You can ask the youth to get involved, and you can broadcast anything that they give permission for. So the youth and kids, if it's children, then you'd have to ask the parents' permission. But you could broadcast live group sessions from the community centre or from the church meeting room. And again, you're doing this. You already have a congregation. That congregation will grow naturally. But in terms of people knowing what's happening in your church, you can stream live services. You can host midweek devotionals and Bible studies. You can share testimonies and faith stories, and you can engage youth. As I say, everybody who's involved in the church, the youth will be the ones who are more likely to jump at it. You can, of course, broadcast live prayer sessions and worship nights, any occasions which you want to. Not only are you broadcasting live, you're actually documenting it. So if you've got events that you want to document and you want to broadcast live, then you can. The other thing you should be aware of is that with the software that we talked about earlier, which is Restream and OneStream Live, and OneStream Live has the record facility built in, and you don't have to broadcast live. You can record it, you can edit it, and then you can upload it to YouTube or to LinkedIn, wherever you want your videos to go. The only system I know that charges is Twitter or X. X charge. The rest are free to use. And once you've got the video, you can post it on any social media network that meets your criteria. You're in charge. You decide where to post it. You decide whether you need a password to see it. You're in charge of how it's viewed. If you want to broadcast to the church website, then you can use OneStream Live to do it. OneStream Live can broadcast directly to your church website. It can broadcast a live service to your church website. And it can record as well. Okay, so live prayers and worship nights. I'm just going to play this just a minute. And I'm going to stop in a second. Just give me a second. I just want to get this on screen. Right. So live prayers and worship nights, special occasions, you can allow viewers to submit prayer requests in real time. If you're live on YouTube and they're watching on YouTube, they can comment live and send in requests. If you're live on Facebook, same applies. You can actually ask for prayer requests during the broadcast. The other thing, just whilst I'm here, one of the things you do need to think of in advance is moderation. Basically, you're broadcasting live and you're on a live public site, and it's going to be unlikely it will happen. But whilst you're broadcasting the service live, do have somebody monitoring the actual feed on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, so that any comments which shouldn't be there are removed straight away. You'll find that on YouTube you can actually set, I hate to say it, but you can set bots, and they will monitor the conversation on your behalf. And if a comment is made which is outside your criteria, then the comment will be automatically deleted. Do look at the two bots. I'll put the name of the bots in the video, below the video recording. You should actually have a bot working whilst you're broadcasting live to make sure that nothing untoward happens. Because remember, if you've got people viewing, so safety first. One of the things that intrigues a lot of people is behind the scenes video. And in order for a service to take place on a Sunday, a lot of work goes on in the background. Videos about preparation, videos about preparing for a service, videos about every aspect of the operation of a church will be of interest and will be posted on your YouTube channel. So you can live stream volunteer activities. I mean, we did, if it had been live streamed, the vicars at St. James's arrange, on when the weather's reasonable, arrange events which take place outside church. And last week there was yoga taking place. A yoga class took place during the service. And in addition to that, a gardening class as well. Well, in fact, it was practically clearing the churchyard. Those events could have been, they weren't, but they could have been broadcast live. And we also did, I remember, we did a run around the green. Okay, whilst the service was on, we were actually running circuits around the green, and at the end of every lap, you read a prayer. You did another lap, you read another prayer. That sort of event does put itself over to actually being broadcast live. Not that it was, okay, but there were photographs. Special events guest speakers, you can just let me play this again. Okay, I'm going to let you in a secret. I've got a teleprompter beside me, and I'm just checking the teleprompter. I'm going to hide it now. I'm going to go away from the teleprompter. Okay, so you could have special guests and speakers, and you can stream baptisms, weddings, conferences, outreach events, which would be of interest to the congregation. Because the congregation cannot be at every event a church runs. Simple as that. So you can video, live video or recorded video, all of the events that take place around the church. And not to forget, this is key. You want to be able to repurpose everything. Yeah. If you want to take parts of the service, you can edit it and you can replay parts of that on social media everywhere with a link back to your website, to your YouTube. I mean, you can actually invite people to join you live at 11 a.m. on Sunday. Marketing a church, it's just a good idea. I'm going to say that. Okay, so it all begins with, and I'm going to swap these around. It all begins with the service. Broadcasting services. Remember, I said you need a fast Ninja PC, you need a 10 megabyte upload, you need external cameras which are fixed, you need to practice until you get it right. The St. James's setup is very professional. They've been doing it for 5 years, and they are a team, a broadcasting team, and it's come about basically because of the hard work of everybody involved. And I'm going to bring this second image in. You need more than one camera if you're broadcasting a church service, because you want to be able to give people the look and feel of being there. And as you can see, we have the group there with a singer, with a guitarist, with a drummer, and we have the verses from the hymn on screen, so that during the live broadcast you can sing along or read along and become part of the service. There are, I think, 3 or 4 cameras in the church itself, so they can swap from the altar over to this corner of the church, which is a musical corner. And basically, it is a way of sharing. It is a way of reaching out to your community. And I'm going to come to me. If you have any questions about broadcasting for your church, then please do drop them in the comments on YouTube. You've been watching Stephen live from wonderful Wiltshire in England. I should be back in 2 weeks' time. In the meantime, there are going to be other videos. But please, if you're thinking about broadcasting from your church, ask for volunteers. Get a group of people together. Undoubtedly, there is expertise within your congregation and within your geographic area that you can call on to do it. It is never, to be successful, it's never a one-man operation. It's actually educating and training a team of people, old and young, to actually broadcast the service as it's live. And there is something inspiring about it all. That's the word I'm going to use. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye for now. Take care.